Hi guys, this is Erica from Gokce Capital. Now before I begin, be sure to click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. It took almost 60 years to create Flevoland. Before the 12th and youngest province of the Netherlands could be inhabited by humans, it first had to be wrested from the Zuiderzee, the violent and ever-expanding North Sea inlet that spread menacingly into the country's northern interior. To build Flevoland, the Zuiderzee had to be closed off and tamed through the creation of a barrier dam, a work which was later deemed one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. But more on that later, for perhaps you too have an ambitious construction project you have been dreaming of. And even if you don't have to make land out of water, you will still need to prep your site. So in today's video, here are the top things you should know about site preparation. Number 1. Site preparation involves all of those activities that occur on your land before you can begin constructing your building. It can include the demolition of existing structures, grading, leveling, and clearing the land, moving earth, and drainage projects. Number 2. Site preparation often has many steps, including potentially all or more of the following. Site evaluation. This is the early stage analysis of the site to ensure that it is suitable for your project. Soil testing. These tests collect data on existing soil conditions to determine how to best construct and design the foundation of your structure. Site plan design. This is the stage in which you plan the design of your overall site, including where structures will go and how water will run around the property. Site surveying. This involves outlining where all structures, fixtures, and utilities are to be placed. Site clearing and grading. This is the bulk of the site preparation construction work, and it can involve not just clearing the ground around which you want to build, but also altering the topography of the site, demolishing buildings, removing trees, eliminating existing underground infrastructure, producing earthworks, and filling out or leveling the building site. Site compaction. This is generally the final stage in site preparation when the flattened building site is compacted so that it can withstand the weight of the building foundation. Number 3. As you may imagine, from all of the steps involved, site preparation can take a number of months. It can also be costly depending on the characteristics of your site and the project you would like to undertake. On average, a residential site prep project will cost between $500 and $5,000. Commercial and agricultural projects, on the other hand, are going to cost more, averaging somewhere between $1,000 and $50,000. Number 4. Site preparation can involve a number of different activities, but there are a few basic tips or things that you should think about to ensure your project is successful. When planning out where you are placing your buildings, consider the flow of people and equipment, not only during occupation of the building, but also during construction. If it is difficult to move construction equipment and workers around the site, it is going to cost you more. Make sure you are placing your buildings at the right elevation for drainage purposes. You want to make sure that water flows away from any new buildings you are creating. Consider the location of all nearby public utilities. You will want your building to be situated in such a way that it is relatively easy to connect it to existing utilities. Also remember that any connection lines that run from your building to the public sewer must flow downhill. Thus, your building must be placed uphill from the connection point to the public sewer. When considering contractors, make sure that you select the right builder for the job. You'll want someone who's experienced with site preparation and has adequate insurance and staffing capabilities. Complete the construction portion of your site preparation during the right season. In a similar vein, you want to avoid working on muddy sites. Before planning out your project and beginning construction, locate all underground utilities and structures to make sure that you are not going to accidentally hit any important infrastructure when undertaking your site prep work. But let's return to Flevoland. In 1927, barges began attacking the Zuiderzee, dumping thousands of tons of glacial till into the open water. But the Zuiderzee was not so easily defeated, and as each barge deposited a new load, the currents and tides would all but wash away the previous drop. Yet if the barges worked around the clock, ever so slowly, a portion of the barrier dam would slowly begin to arise out of the sea, until finally, after 3 years of work, the barrier was high enough for bulldozers to run across, laying lines of sand secured to the dam by thousands of stone-weighted willow mattresses. And on May 28, 1932, the last hole was plugged and the barrier was made watertight. But this was only the beginning. To reclaim Flevoland from the now tamed sea, 20-foot-high dikes had to be constructed around the entire perimeter of the new land. It took 7 years to build these dikes and 9 months for industrial pumps, working at a rate of 500,000 gallons a minute, to pump out the water, leaving behind a warren of mud, thick and deadly as quicksand. Thousands of reed seeds were then airlifted onto the mud, growing into rushes that were trampled down and burned into a thick mat of ashen stalk. Next came willow trees, more reeds, and a long series of moisture-loving plants, each one growing thick roots to hold in the soil and create land. And after 11 years, Flevoland's thickening soil was deemed ready to receive crops. But even still, this was not the end. Next came the machines, the heavy-duty road rollers, asphalt layers, and cement plants to create the infrastructure the new land's inhabitants would need. Until finally, in 1986, 54 years after the Zuiderzee was tamed, Flevoland was finally open for development, making Flevoland perhaps the most complicated site preparation project ever undertaken. So what do you think? Do you have any stories of complicated site preparation projects? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? You're going to love our Gokce Land Due Diligence program. We'll make you a land due diligence expert in just 7 days. Check it out at gokcecapital.com/glad. And while you're at our website, don't forget to explore our $1 down listings at gokcecapital.com/listings. Finally, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email, call, or text, and we will respond as soon as possible. So thank you for listening, and more to come.